Well, good morning. Today we're going to talk about something called modals, and these are words like can, might, should, must, will, have to, etc. We use modals in many different ways, and the one thing you need to remember is that modals always have the same relationship to each other, no matter how they're used. So if you look on the board, I've created what looks like a thermometer. And at the bottom we have a 30% level. Now this means how strong is the modal. So compared to other modals, this would be about 30% strong. This is what we would call the perhaps or the maybe modals. So in this list we have can, could, might, and may. And the opposite of those, cannot, can't, might not, may not. So this is something we would use for perhaps this, perhaps that. We can go to have a Chinese meal tonight, or we can go to have French food tonight. We can see the new movie, or we can go to the disco. Our next level is at a 50%. It's stronger, and these modals include should and ought to, and their opposite, shouldn't, ought not to. Now notice that even though ought to is two words, it's one modal. These would be stronger than can and could. Up at the top we have 80 to 100% level. These are much stronger modals. These include must, will, has to or have to, had better, has got to or have got to, and the opposite. Must not, will not, had better not, etc. Now the important thing about this list, as I said, is that it never changes. Must is always stronger than should. Should is always stronger than can. Therefore, must is always stronger than can. There is one exception to this. As you know, in English we always have exceptions. And the exception is when we use can or cannot to indicate ability. Then it is 100%. I can play the guitar. I cannot speak Czech. So here we have complete absolute answers. Can, cannot. Otherwise, can is always at this 30% level. So for example, I have a friend who likes to go to the horse races and gamble. He has a problem though because he has lost a lot of money. And now some men want to collect the money, and they say if he doesn't pay them, they're going to break his legs. And he came to me and he said, "What should I do?" And I said, "Well, I have 3 ideas for you. Number 1, you could ask your family for the money to pay the men. Number 2, you should ask the men for more time to pay. Number 3, you must stop gambling." Now these are 3 modals, could, should, must, going up in strength. These are modals of suggestion. You could ask your parents for the money, perhaps, maybe. Modal of advice, you should ask the men for more time to pay. And a modal of warning, you must stop gambling, or else you will have your legs broken. Must, in this sense, always has a what else with it, or else.